This is the day that my life changes. Everything is going to go my way from now on because I'm going to do everything right. All of my good habits, I'm going to double, triple, quadruple down on. And all of my bad habits, I'm sending right out the window. I'm breaking up with that person that does things that are not for their long-term well-being. So I am going to eat nothing but good food for me. I'm going to throw out all the junk food. I'm going to really be economical with my time. I'm going to make sure I'm only spending it in ways that are actually valuable to me. No more just sitting around staring at my phone or staring at some other screen for hours and hours at a time. I'm going to take real good care of myself. I'm going to meditate for like an hour, sometimes 2 hours every single day. I am just generally gonna be doing the right thing from here on, and my life is gonna change. We've all had that experience, right? Of declaring that. Sometimes we have the experience of declaring that just internally to ourselves. And then sometimes we have that experience where we declare it to some other people, maybe just a few other people that are close to us, and sometimes we announce it on an enormous scale to everybody on our social media, or, we get excited about some life change that we're making, and so we just feel the need to mention it to everybody that we come across for a while. This experience is very common, and it's detailed in an amazing song, one of my favorite songs, called This Is the Day by a band called The, which is like one of the worst band names for search engines. But yeah, it details somebody staying up late into the night till they see the morning sun and having this epiphany that they don't like where they are in life, and so this is the day that everything's going to change and fall into place for them. I like that it's specifically about somebody that's sleep deprived, because that often is when big realizations about life come at you when you're that vulnerable. And one of the things I really love about the song is that the mood is kind of uncertain. It's a little hard to tell when listening if it is a happy song or a sad song. Right, just from the beginning, the instrumental is very pleasant, but it's also kind of melancholic at the same time. And then I have heard the song described as like, this is the pep talk for you to change your life, but I don't know if I necessarily think of it as an upbeat pep talk. It's kind of having that realization that you don't like where you are in life and that you're going to change things. It's kind of filled with a lot of happiness and sadness. I mean, yeah, okay, because in one way, it is very positive to decide that I'm going to take control of my life and I'm going to do the right thing. And there's a whole lot of empowerment that comes with that. And there are some times when that motivation is so strong and you're walking out into the world already feeling like a foot taller, as though you've already accomplished everything because you've really realized that you are the sole creator of your destiny. Obviously, it's positive. I think back to, beginning of, like when I first got out of college, I decided to get really into self-help. And though I'm not quite the self-help junkie I became for that period of time, that's what started me on the way, and I felt a lot of empowerment at the time because of that. I mean, that's great. And in another way, there are some sad parts of that experience, because as the song details, this person is really dissatisfied with their life, and they're hardcore living in the past, and they're thinking about how they used to be such a happier person, and they're thinking, I need to change so that I can get back there. I mean, yeah, that's sad. Oftentimes, it's the times when you're at your lowest, like when I first left college, that motivates you to take a step in the right direction. But I do think back to that time, and I think about how depressed I was. And the other sad part about that is that I obviously don't know if I'm going to follow through. I don't know if I'm going to follow through when I declare this is the day that I get my life on track. And isn't it kind of saddening thinking back to a previous time when you had that epiphany really strongly, and then it lasted for a day, a week, a month, whatever, and then you kind of just got back into the same rough place that you were before, because new habits are very, very difficult to form. So whether or not it's happy really depends on the answer to one question. Is this really the day? Is this really the day that my life changes? Like I said, you are sort of the sole creator of your destiny, and at the same time, there's a lot about us and our psychology and the habits that we form that are somewhat outside of our control. And trying to brute force some big life change doesn't often, and I would even say it rarely pans out for us. You know, overwhelming ambition feels great when you have it. And looking back at it in hindsight hurts when you don't so much have it anymore. I think of another song, I Dreamed a Dream. Oh, I love you, Anne Hathaway. When I first saw your makeover in Princess Diaries as a kid, my heart grew like the Grinch. Was it 3 sizes that day? I don't know. But yeah, I dreamed a dream, It's sad thinking about past ambition and hope that you had for yourself back when, you were kind of naive and thought that stuff was going to kind of come easily and just be handed to you, and that just because you wanted it, even if it was you wanted some kind of change inside of you to happen, just because you wanted it, it would just come to you. It is kind of sad. That's all that I can say. But there are a few positive notes here. Who's to say that extreme ambition is the best thing to have forever? Isn't it kind of, by definition, painting a picture of your future that you're probably not going to realize? Don't we often dream way, way, way bigger than is actually attainable? As a little kid, how many of us thought that we would simultaneously be an astronaut and the president of the United States and live in Hawaii or something? You know what I mean? I think incredible ambition is a great place to start. And then reality will brush up against you, and you will have to tamper expectations a little bit. But I can look back at the overwhelming big dreaming that I used to do with a certain level of nostalgia and, kind of laugh about how naive I was. And also, I will ask, isn't learning to be content without 100% goal realization kind of a positive in its own way? And don't we also sometimes look back and go, well, I'm glad that thing that I wanted so badly didn't pan out for me? I think about, I keep coming back to when I first got out of college. When I first got out of college, I was really trying to become internet famous. And I'm so incredibly happy that I did not become internet famous in that attempt, because I wasn't ready for fame. I don't know if I still am now, but I was even less so prepared back then. I needed time to not have an audience of the world looking at me so that I could just develop myself more. And I think maybe if I had gotten a big audience, they would have wanted me to stay exactly the way that I was back then at 22. And do you know how bad I would be now if I was still at that basic development level, Now, I will say also, I can still have my this is the day moments, and they can still be joyful. But instead of saying, this is the day my life completely changes, I can say, this is the day that I set my life in the direction of positive change. I have this epiphany that I want this change in my life, and here are some small things I can do today to just gently adjust my sails and set course in that direction. And if I can just look at my life in terms of how much I've grown then there is a whole lot for me to celebrate on any given day.